Hello and welcome to What We're Watching. I'm Ed.
I'm Catherine.
It's Liz.
And John.
All right. Well, it's all been on me. I've been the one that's holding us all up, and now we're ready to talk about Stranger Things.
Woohoo!
A little bit because it's been out for a long time, and I finally binge watched season 3 again to really get into it, and then dove straight from the mall into all the drama of season 4, and it's very dramatic. It's holy mother, those episodes are long.
Yeah, and
they're super long.
They're crazy long. I went back and it's like there's maybe the last episode of the last 3 seasons clocks over an hour. There is one episode that's under an hour this season.
Yes, and just fair warning, there might be some spoiler alerts. So if you have not watched Stranger Things season 4,
we're not going to be terrible.
But also it's been out for a few weeks. So catch up, get on it. You know, there's only so long. I think there is a grace period, which we respected, which I think in today's times is like 2 weeks, right?
Everybody has their own pace, but it's nice to wait a little bit and give people time to catch up. I mean, I didn't watch it super quickly either, so.
I have a teenage son, so it was pretty much the weekend or the day it dropped, we started watching it.
Well, that and he has friends that he's got to stay up with, too. I just have to keep up with you guys, so.
But back to what you were saying, Ed, yeah, what's crazy is some of these episodes were the length of a full movie.
Oh, the last one. I mean, that's when I got to that last drop, that second drop with the 2 episodes, and I was like, wait, what? It was like an hour and a half and then a 2.5 hour. I was not ready for that.
Yeah, that was interesting. For season 4, they basically took a month off between, they did 6 episodes, was it?
I think it was 7. 7 and then 8 and 9 were the second part, the second drop.
And they took a month plus. What were you going to say, John, in clarification?
Yeah, correct. 7 and then 2.
Right. So 8 and 9, basically they put a couple weeks in between that to let us all regroup,
take a moment,
catch up. And then I was the same way. When I saw how long episode 9 was, I was like, oh gosh, like when do we have basically 2 hours?
Oh yeah, for sure. It took me over the course of a couple days to...
I haven't quite gotten to the finale of the season yet. It's a long ways off, but it's a long ways off because it's long. I'm getting to it soon. But weirdly, that was last season that was totally into the epically long, movie length things when they had someone from Lord of the Rings in the actual series. That's when you should be doing 3-hour things, guys.
Yes.
You killed him, and now you're doing 3-hour things. What do you think? He's into that track.
What was his name again?
Bob.
Oh, Bob. Right.
Played
Bob.
by Sean
Astin.
Yeah. And he worked at Radio Shack. That's what you got to love about him.
Oh, he was a great character.
And he was a love interest of Winona Ryder's character, Joyce. I'm sure when he got the script, he was like, hell yeah, I get to make out, very fun make-outs with Joyce's character.
So, Ed, I have a question. Just because you just watched season 3, which I obviously haven't watched since it originally came out.
Yarp.
How alarming was it in terms of the kids aging from 3 to 4? Because, I wasn't looking at it back to back. Did it feel really obvious and crazy?
They're different people. Every single one of them went from, oh, you're entering high school. You kind of buy this. I get it. Everyone except Elle got, I don't know, is the freshman to senior change. That was too much, almost.
Was the end of season 3, was that like a middle school dance? What was that? Or they were freshmen?
Oh, the snow ball.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not clear on...
But they were youngins.
Yeah, they were still in the teen...
They were graduating what's junior high, and this is their freshman year in high school.
Oh, it is? This is freshman year? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I didn't quite track that.
Exactly. Freshman year high school.
Some of them are 20 now.
They didn't quite track looking as exactly. And also, I'm just going to say, season 3, there's a lot of high shorts.
Oh, God.
There's a lot of high shorts.
There's a lot. I mean, listen, if you grew up in the 80s, they do a very good job of capturing that era in
Which
the
is not
fashion,
good.
the music. And you look back on it nostalgically for us, and you're like, yeah, it was rough.
It was ugly. It was real ugly.
Some of the choices. Ooh.
Definitely saw my own pasty white legs. Had flashbacks to some photos of me in high school running cross country with super short shorts.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could buy bicycle shorts and use them for running. Found that out.
Jeez. Well, this takes place in the 1980s in Hawkins, Indiana. And, what's great is they do so many little homages, tributes. I mean, the original sort of sequence of them riding their bikes was totally E.T. I mean, there's just if you
E.T.
grew up,
and Goonies,
if you grew up in that era, there's so many things that it looks familiar, it feels familiar, but they've put a twist on it, and they're putting it through this filter of this sort of horror genre, and it's not letting up. I mean, season 4 was scary. I mean, there were moments I'm like, this is like, when the F is this going to end? And also the rumors that it was going to end at season 4. I will just say,
I don't think so.
Well, no,
obviously. Yeah.
no, it absolutely not. Season 5's already been announced, and for sure they don't wrap up the big L. And because you haven't watched all of season 4 yet, I don't want to ruin you. I mean, her nemesis, when it goes all the way back, there's a story there's a through line now that connects everything that's happened in Hawkins, right? So I thought they did an excellent job with the season, introducing new characters, but flashing back and or keeping the characters. Because there was one episode, I was like, normally when you do story structures, A, B, C storyline in that descending order, like the main story, a subplot, and then like you could almost say mini plot, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there was one episode when half of them are off in that pizza van, what they're up
Surfer
to.
Boy Pizza.
Right, and then everything that Elle's going through, and then the Steve and the whole group, their storyline. All 3 of them were so major.
Well, wait.
And then
Russia.
Right. And then Russia. And one of them they didn't even get to in an entire episode because I was like, this is too much. Like, no wonder these episodes are so long. You can't even hit all of it.
It was really structurally very surprising that it was so broken up. That everybody was broken down into these mini groups, and there was whole different things going on. I mean, they were related, but they were bopping around between these different groups who were all separated and doing different things. You're like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. There's definitely like a lot of preparation for at some point we'll all be getting back together and all these plans will work out. And you're like, yeah, that's how shows work. I know. Get to it, Russia. We're waiting. Get there.
Yeah.
Get back. Oh my God.
Well,
the whole freaking season. Okay.
What I love about Joyce is like, she basically goes on a business trip to Russia, like doesn't tell her kids anything. I'm like,
they were going to a conference.
I mean, really could have died.
Alaska. She went to Alaska on the business trip.
Her and Murray were such a great comedy duo. Murray he's played by Brett Gelman.
He is my standout. He's probably my favorite part of the whole show. First of all, I do have to just go back and say, this season, I think I talked about it before, just so much more horror and gross, which is a little bit difficult for me. So I was already like, ooh, this is a lot. So I was really very thankful for the Brett Gelman break of like comedy and also Steve. It was a weird balance. They're like, oh, let's have some comedy with Murray's character and with Steve's character, and then all this other horror stuff is happening. I'm like, ooh,
I'm on board for like the spin-off series of, all right, Hawkins has finally solved it. It's closed up. But Steve and Murray, they're still at it. They're just tooling around town having a good time.
Oh, boy. And even, the love story from previous seasons of Nancy and Jonathan, they're not even together this entire season.
Well, yeah, that's not great for them.
And Mike and Elle have their young, budding, loving romance
I don't
challenges.
need any of that, but okay.
The other humor was like, I absolutely loved Erica, who is Lucas's younger sister. She's just
you're
so
right. Absolutely.
fun with Dustin, and that combination of, it's interesting because if you go back to the mid 80s, this idea of the satanic worship and heavy metal and Dungeons and Dragons,
right, and being suspicious of Dungeons and Dragons, that it is
satanic,
somehow,
yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought that was so genius they brought that up. I'm sure people would not even remember. There's a great documentary, I cannot remember off the top of my head. You can tell in a writer's room or when they got together, like what is feeding their narrative, what's inspo for them. So the girl Vicky, another character I absolutely love. Maya Hawke does such a great job with Robin. The girl that she had a crush on, Vicky. I mean, hello.
Is it Molly Ringwald?
It was Molly Ringwald. I'll post it. I did a screenshot side by side, and I was like, this was on purpose, for sure.
Oh, the costuming, it looked like Pretty in Pink to me, right?
Between that and I feel like the programmer's like, all right, maybe Molly Ringwald is hot right now. 16 Candles was on, and I was watching part of it again. I'm like,
oh yeah,
this is ridiculous. It's the era of, when she was very, very hot, and did like 16 Candles,
Breakfast Club,
and Pretty in Pink. Like those three. It is that smashed into that girl, Vicky.
That is hilarious.
It's like, oh my gosh. So there's just moments you just go, oh, yeah. Just going back to that documentary, it was called The West Memphis 3.
Oh, I don't know it.
And, it's so disturbing because it really is just this small town just zeroes in on these 3 kids because there was a murder. It's a horrific murder. When I think it was 3 like really young boys were killed. And so they basically go after like the heavy metal kids in town.
Oh, God.
So for sure that was a play on that, because Eddie, I mean, the
character of Eddie Munson.
Yes, that character played by Joseph Quinn. Talk about friggin' coming in as a supporting character and knocking out of the frickin' park.
Yeah.
First of all, he's British.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I just watched something because he's going to Comic-Con for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And these fans were thanking him and he just starts to like cry. It was so sweet.
Well, I did read a little bit about that, I guess. The day before, they had really seriously overbooked how many people could like go to his meet and greet. And then I guess the fans were saying that the staff at Comic-Con, or whatever the con is called, were really mean to him, being like, stop talking to them, keep it moving, just sign him. And like, and they were saying like, thank you to him for being so nice. And that was what made him cry.
Well, listen, meet and greets are really challenging. And I would think for someone, I mean, he doesn't have a long resume. I mean,
no, it's got to be a new experience completely.
It would be a new experience for anybody. I mean,
huge fandom.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think the rumors were he didn't know how his character would be received. And it's really been the like knockout character of the season.
Yeah, people love him.
So I think that he is kind of shell-shocked. And I've had to manage some meet and greets. It is hard. Someone has to be the tough guy to be like, move it along, averaging like less than 1 minute a person. But these people have waited hours and hours. So it is just hard to navigate.
I've only been to one meet and greet, proximity to one meet and greet previously. It was at a convention, but not Comic-Con. I've been to Comic-Con once. It was at a Doctor Who convention. So there was a lot of patience in those fans. Like, I think there's videos of some of the actual stars with Doctor Who. They're like there for minutes having conversations. And everyone's like, yeah, I'll have my turn. It's okay.
Yeah, they're chilling because they know they're up next.
But it's also like that convention is an explicitly limited size convention. So it can do things like that. Have a full 2-hour meet and greet with only 200 people.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's normally what it's really supposed to be. You're supposed to sell that out. So God bless him that he handled it so well and seems to be just very grateful for this whole journey. And he really did knock it out of the park. Him and Dustin's dynamic was really fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then the bully jock character.
Ooh, he was really good. He was very terrible. So really, really good.
But, okay, see, I can't spoil it. People get their comeuppance, but sometimes you feel like, was that enough? I don't know. But he just enrages you. Mm-hmm. But that is also...
It felt incredibly 80s, though, didn't it? It
yes,
felt
it's
like
very
so
Karate Kid.
Yeah.
It's very...
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Yes, it's very much elements of the bully jock that is out to get the outsider. So... But I mean, listen, that opening scene, you have watched at least the first episode, right, Eddie?
Yeah, like 4 episodes from the end. So I'm more than halfway through.
Chrissy, the cheerleader's death was so shocking because it's just, it happened so quickly and it was so brutal. You were like, what is happening? Who is doing this? Where is this going to go? Because she and at that point, Eddie Munson are new characters. So... What? It didn't involve Elle. It didn't involve, any of our normal hitters. So, I mean, Will's haircut. I mean,
yeah, it was tragic. Is that the best word for it? Yeah, bad is not even enough. It's so funny because you see him like out in the world as his regular self, and he has great normal hair, and then as this character, there's such a bowl cut.
Funny thing that went down with him and Doja Cat. So I guess she DM'd him, Noah,
right,
to try to connect with the character Eddie. in like real life, like set me up, man.
Yeah, with the actor who plays Eddie.
And he was like, hey, just like, slide into his DM. She's like, I don't know,
What his
handle is.
Yeah.
And he's like, here you go. Like, good luck. Good luck, ma'am. And then he screenshot it and posted it.
It was like maybe 6 lines total.
And she got so pissed.
Oh, she went bananas. She like posted online and like called him a weasel, I think.
And I'm like, dude,
wow.
First of all, you're in your 20s. He is not even, I don't even know if he's,
I think he's 17.
yeah, he's still a kid. And like, what is he supposed to be, matchmaker? He's not
And also,
Bumble
like,
Babe.
you didn't say like this is just between us. Like what? I don't know.
I said the
That is the most Tom Holland move.
Yes, exactly. I actually said what probably was the main dagger when he's like, ma'am, called her ma'am. I was like, what? I thought we were like contemporaries. Like, no, he's a kid. He's a
Doja
kid.
ma'am.
Yeah, which reminds you, I mean, Dustin was awesome as always. So like you said, for story, it was a very unique season because I do think they put these groups together and primarily kept them together. And now they were going on their own story plot line. But, in the end, everything they were doing was ultimately going to help the main battle challenge.
Right.
at
It
the
was
end.
all related.
Yeah.
But yeah, separate but related. Yeah.
I mean, Jim Hopper in Russia, I mean, it's really like, wait, how they got there, how they're getting out. Like, this was a bit of a...
I know, but it was nice that he wasn't dead. So that was good.
Oh my gosh. And he looked good. He lost a lot of weight.
Apparently he lost, I don't know, that,
The gulag is good to you,
yeah.
apparently.
Well, or they don't feed you
Good to
is
him
the
anyways.
idea. Yeah. But he was like, I'll never do that again. Losing weight for a role. It was too hard and brutal. And yeah. But I don't even know what it was, but he looked humongously different. Humongously being the opposite. He looked much smaller.
He had been way trimmed down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting twist with him and the character Joyce, which you love because they do have good chemistry and they've really been battling it out all these years together. So you're kind of like, find happiness.
I don't have the Russian pilot. I don't know.
Was that
his-
Yuri?
He was very fun. Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There was some danglers like Dimitri and Yuri. So did they get to the United States and stay here?
We don't know.
Right. So there was elements like that. You're like, huh? Now I love that Matthew Modine was back. Creepy Papa.
Yeah, Papa. Even just saying Papa sounds so creepy. And also Paul Reiser. It was a little bit different arc for him, which was nice.
Yeah,
I mean, but yeah, seeing both of them.
Perfect Stranger Things. That's exactly what we needed.
Yes. And Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger, really one of the original OGs of the horror genre. He had an interesting story and scene that ties it up. And listen, they were doing so much. You can think about certain things that you're sort of going, oh, we didn't really touch upon that, or we didn't circle back, or like last season, Karen Wheeler, Mike's
Karen.
mom had a big story. Someone posted something like Ted Wheeler, Mike Wheeler's dad, the most useless character in
Oh, well,
Stranger Things.
what are you going to do?
Incorrect. One of the most accurate 80s dad references. Like all TV movie dad in the 80s, they were doing nothing. They're like, what are you doing, son? Here's $20.
And I'm out. That was my only
That was my
scene.
line.
So, I mean, I just think the Duffer Brothers, they didn't direct everyone and they didn't write everyone, which I think in the past, was almost every episode they were involved with in some way. Some of the end credits, I'd go, oh, they didn't direct this, or writing credits are in the way they work. Not everybody can get credit on every script. So the chances that they were not involved in writing, overseeing
Well,
every
they're
script.
show running, so
yeah,
they're
there's no
involved,
way they
for
were
sure.
not. But and so this is their baby, and they've got. I do think season 5. I mean, I think we got to
Well,
wrap
we'll
this
see.
up.
I mean, what else?
First of all, wrong. They got to get to the 90s. And then you got all the 90s stuff that you can reference that's really awesome. Does anyone have any predictions for season 5's cameo from the late 80s?
Oh, God.
I'm hoping for David Hasselhoff.
Oh, God, that would be amazing. Is that 80s or is that 90s? Well, I guess because what was that, Knight Rider?
Yeah,
that was
Knight
80s.
Rider. That's what I was
Okay.
going for, yeah.
I was thinking Baywatch, which is 90s.
It's a little
yeah.
early on that
Yeah,
one.
Okay.
It just feels like they give all these visual references and then they just go full-blown cameo in case you just wanted a whole person. Here's Freddy Krueger. Enjoy.
Yeah, the Freddy Krueger. My son would have no clue who that was. So
Yeah, I had to look him up.
Yeah, a lot of people go over the younger generation's head completely.
Well, and he wasn't exactly super recognizable, even for people who know who he is. I was like,
what are you talking about? He has scarred up eyes?
He was
Same
fine.
difference.
It was
Same
totally
difference.
fine.
It just reminds you that high school is so rough. You're just like, oh God. It was like, oh.
Well, luckily they were on, was it
Summer-
spring break?
Yeah, what a shitty spring break.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
they
my
have
God,
had some of the worst days off and time off from school. Just the worst.
Yeah, that was their spring break because Mike was going to visit Elle. Oh my God, that scene in the roller rink.
I know. I was just thinking of that. Yeah.
First of all, Elle's fashion in the beginning, it was a step up for her to then be in the white isolation water suit. And the shaved head, because the beginning of the season was
Fifth Element looking
friggin'
style. Yeah.
rough. I mean, it was like prairie gone bad. It was just horrible. It was like, you need Max. You need Max back, your little friend who was taking you to the mall.
And I'm telling you, I just watched season 3. Covered in style. I mean, it's the mall style, so it's like straight off the mannequin, but that's way better than what she was trying on her own.
Oh, it was like, Joyce, come on. This was like, it was like depression walking.
Yes, but also Joyce's character has been classically a very bad dresser. I mean, like the whole first beginning, like she's wearing like schlumpy pants and like big. Yeah, I mean,
She's wearing like another man's clothes.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Well, remember, it's also, she's barely surviving, you know. She's
Financially.
Oh, no,
So
for sure.
I
She's
think
not,
that's a clue as to what she can afford.
yeah. I mean, you're right.
You know, the underbelly the whole time is emotional trauma. Mm-hmm. But this character that they introduced, you know, it's basically the origin story. I hope they give us more because I will say it's not clear. You know, evil can just exist is basically what they're saying with this character, which is like Omen.
Well, and they're also
stuff
saying
like that.
they're also saying there's a bigger evil.
Right.
So that's part of how this is going down, that it's like, oh no, this is in service to something even bigger. I know. All right. I mean, they're not done.
It would have been really surprising if the first entry point from season 1 all the way through now, if they had knocked on the door of I got it wrong last time. It's not the Down Under. It's
Upside down.
the Upside Down. They had knocked on the door of the Upside Down, and they met the boss right away. And then that's who they've been fighting the whole time. It's not how that works. You get into the Badland, and you meet the first bad boss. And you're like, oh my gosh, how did we survive? We finally got back. That was his cousin.
Yeah,
the real boss is on vacation. He'll be back next season. So yeah.
And I will
look
say
forward to it.
Max's character, you know, the music
Oh yeah,
was
it was
awesome.
a big, well, they always do a great job with music, but they really
leaned into it because it's kind of a saving grace. And the Kate Bush Riding Up the Hill has just taken off, which is so fantastic
Hilarious.
to know that she wrote, produced, and owns all the rights to that song.
Good for
so
her.
Every download, she's just making bank off of.
good for her, because that's not usually the case.
And I guess I didn't know this. I loved Kate Bush. I had her albums in the day, This Woman's Work and all these. You know, her songs were fantastic. She didn't tour. I guess she
No.
was just a studio.
Yeah, we had a discussion about this. When you think about 80s music and, you know, we appreciate Kate Bush, and then you're like, oh, but actually she didn't have #1 hits. And she's actually not,
A little underground.
She's not A-list for the 80s. One of the theories, and partially, you know, something that I read or might be right or wrong, is it's because she didn't tour.
Well, that's how you get the big fan base going.
Theoretically,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're getting more radio play or, you know, spreading yourself out in all these different places and you're engaging your fans. But interesting if that's really, you know, the exact reason, you know.
Typically, artists will tour just because that's how you make the most money.
Right.
Like, particularly if you don't own the rights to the song, you are making money by going out and performing, because you're not
And
making
selling
money.
merch and ticket sales. So I don't think she's going to come out and perform this song.
Well, no, probably
so
not.
that
Although I'll
metallic,
take a cameo from her in season 5.
it wouldn't. Well, I don't know. How would that make sense?
Well, not as herself.
Oh
Just-
no, not as herself. Like she shows up as like the unknown Winona Ryder's sister or something like that.
Oh gosh. So the other songs that were pretty, you know, well integrated was obviously there's an awesome scene with Eddie in a Metallica song.
People love it, love it, love it.
Well, it was kind of an iconic
Oh, yeah.
In the series, it's pretty much one of the standout moments. And then Journey was also Separate Lives, I think was the song. High playing on it. They're all freaking separate. I mean, they literally are all over the place. So, I mean, it just was. So the music, of course, like I said, the fashion, the hair is bad, but you know, and then I just think they do such a great job. I will say for scaredy cats, we're all scaredy cats, the Kilmans. Like we can't handle it.
It was still doable though.
It's doable.
I mean, I had to look away a little bit, but
God, yeah. But it's tolerable. Like I don't want to end my night on that typically, but other than that, it's so good.
Yeah. I do want to say, just really quickly, this is a Steve-related thing. Joe Keery, love him as Steve. And then recently, I watched Free Guy. And I didn't know he was...
yes, he's great.
He's great in Free Guy. So I was like, this was before this season of Stranger Things happened. Right. So it was like, I got like a bonus Steve. And he was very Steve-ish in Free Guy. But anyway, just funny to be like, oh, I got a little in between Steve and then new season.
Yeah, you love to see, you know, because when someone signs on and to a movie or a show and it becomes whether a trilogy or something like this where it's multiple seasons, it's so popular, you love to see them doing other work because, you know, it's like, wow, you're going to have years for this project. Well worth it, but still like crazy. I mean, I loved David Harbour in, what was it called, John? The Black Widow movie?
Yes, Black Widow.
Oh, Black Widow. He was awesome in that. So, you know, you just like to see, they're getting out and getting more work. But
well, especially if a show
practices Russian accent in that.
Yes, true.
Oh. Especially if a show is big, you know, you feel like capitalize on it. This is the time, you know, use that momentum and get other stuff going.
There was one of my favorite characters, and she nails every scene she's in, is Susie. I wish she was in it more.
Susie.
That is Dustin's girlfriend.
Oh my God, Susie. I was gonna say when they show up at Susie's house and it's like craziness, I was like, wait, what? Is this like a Wes Anderson family?
I was like,
household?
Is that our household
It's
and
craziness.
Wes Anderson as children? And then her whole weird thing with her dad and like taking away her computer and that they're very religious or what. I mean, I wish she'd snuck out her window and gone with them, but you know, what can you
it was
do?
sad to only have like the one little side interaction.
Yeah, but then we had the pizza guy, Argyle.
I do love him. He pops up a lot. He's great.
Eduardo Franco, man.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, so casting was excellent on this because we'll get into, I don't want any spoiler alerts, but a character, he goes by Peter. He works at the facility, you know, Papa's facility, played by Jamie Campbell. So creepy, so good.
Yeah, the nurse.
So Stranger Things, we loved it. I think they did an excellent job with this season.
Yeah, there's a lot of it, lengthwise. It's,
yes.
You know, 9 episodes.
Depth, which we like.
Lengthy.
Well, season 5 will just be 6 2-hour movies.
Oh, God.
It might be. I would love it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody's right now, this is the other thing. The season started where not everybody was back in Indiana, right?
Right. They were split up because Joyce had taken, like, was in Los Angeles or something. So she had her kids and Elle in Los Angeles.
And then you had Mike, Lucas, and Max, and Dustin still in Hawkins, Indiana. And then you had Jim, basically in Russia. And you had Steve and Robin, Steve is so funny because it's like, dude, I mean, I know you're fighting to save the world and the universe, but like, are you going to go to college? What's happening with you, Steve?
I know, Steve.
Yes.
Another job at a Blockbuster-ish type
so
thing.
Good.
What? Oh, it's great.
Steve's just going to fall ass backwards into success. He's going to be a CEO and a salesman somewhere. He's going to be the front face of, you know, alien weapons or something like that.
Well, I do want to bring up that the Emmy nominations just came out recently, and Stranger Things did get 13 nominations.
Oh, wow.
But
that's lucky.
Yeah. There's been a little bit of, you know, how come this person didn't get nominated? How come that person didn't get nominated? I mean, you know, that is going to happen, obviously, but it just makes me want to talk about the Emmy nominations. Not a lot, just kind of an overview of like who's in categories that we're excited about. Succession got a bunch of nominations. I think they're at 25. They were the leader. Ted Lasso got 20, and so did White Lotus, which I was excited because I had kind of forgotten that White Lotus was like going to be this season. It was enough long ago that you're like, people could have forgotten about it or whatever. Hacks got 17. Only Murders in the Building, one of our favorites, also got 17. So Euphoria, which you guys, Liz and Ed, are you fans of? I don't know. I mean, something?
I don't know how to describe that. You're correct.
They got 16 nominations total. Barry, 14. Dope Sick, 14. Severance, which I loved. Severance, 14. Squid Games, 14. Ozark, 13. Stranger Things is 13. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is 12. Pam and Tommy got 10. Saturday Night Live, 9. Moon Knight, you really enjoyed that, right, Liz? That got 8. RuPaul's Drag Race, 8. Now we're down to Abbott Elementary with 7. There's a couple in the 7 category. Better Call Saul, Station 11, one of my favorites. What We Do in the Shadows, another one of my favorites. Also Yellow Jackets, which I really liked. Those are all in the 7 category. Then we got Dropout. I mean, it's good. Okay, so there we go.
So outstanding drama series. What has changed in the last couple years? Is it that the streaming and the cable are dominating these categories?
Oh, yeah.
You no longer really have network television. So I know This Is Us really swung for the fences and everybody thought this is their final season.
So maybe they'll get nominated? Nope.
Yes. So
that was that?
That was that.
Yes. That is that for This Is Us.
That is that for This Is Us. That was them.
So Better Call Saul, Euphoria, Ozark, Severance, Squid Games, Stranger Things, Succession, and Yellow Jackets. I mean, that's a tough category. That's 8.
Also, I guess this expanding it to just however many nominations, this is a lot. 8 is a lot. But
8's a lot. And I mean, and HBO and Netflix seems to have gotten the most,
definitely
bows in that category.
Yeah, Severance is Apple TV Plus, but
right. And I don't know what would be, because the Academy that votes is only 20,000 people. And I would almost think, because this is why we even started this podcast, it's like watcher fatigue at this point. I don't even know how you could watch everything to be able to vote. So, then what happens? I mean, you're going to vote for what you have watched and you do like? Because, I love Succession and it's won awards in the past. Stranger Things, hugely popular. But, if you're an older Academy member, are you watching that?
Yeah, probably not.
And you're not probably watching Euphoria.
Or Squid Games.
Right. So, or Yellow Jackets was really good, but I don't know that it got a huge base that watched it. I don't know.
Look, it's hard to tell. There's always that thing where it's like the thing that I think will win versus the thing that I think is the best show. But this is a tough category.
And I also think, do you have all these streaming services? Because the Academy, I don't think you get them for free. I don't think that's a perk.
No, but they might send screeners or links so that you can watch multiple episodes or whatever.
That's true. Otherwise, I think because some of the Academy is older, been around a while, Ozark and Severance, I think some of those would, Succession, be more their flavor.
Yeah. Okay, so comedy. We got Abbott Elementary.
I thought that's what we were just talking about.
Comedy series, Abbott Elementary, Barry, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Hacks, Marvelous Miss Maisel, Only Murders in the Building, Ted Lasso, and What We Do in the Shadows. What We Do in the Shadows is a real surprise, though. I love it. It is bananas crazy, hilarious. But I can't believe it's in here. I'm so excited for them.
How did I even got nominated? Because it is.
Well, isn't it on its 4th season and it had a movie to start with? It's got legs. It just isn't in the front of anything. It's around somewhere.
And it's very adult. So it's on FX. I love it, but it is.
I'm surprised. Yeah. I'm very excited for them, and I'm very surprised.
The big surprise was Abbott Elementary because it was a freshman.
Well, it's
pun intended.
Yeah.
Freshman entry.
That's also surprising because it's one of the very few network shows that got nominated. Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so. It got so much buzz.
It's a delight.
Only got positive reaction. Mm-hmm. So good for Quinta Brunson. Talk about
good for her.
Coming out swinging your first season, being hugely successful and getting nominated. And listen, I don't think it's out of the realm that she could win it.
Oh, no. I think it could win. Absolutely.
No, what are you talking about? It's a lock for Curb Your Enthusiasm. They got so much seniority, they automatically get it, right? Isn't that how it works?
I don't know which really won any awards. I like Curb. I watch Curb. I know Hacks is very beloved right now. So is Ted Lasso.
God, and even Only Murders in the Building. I mean, I don't even know.
Barry was a very interesting season that I don't.
It's starting to feel way less like a comedy.
Yeah, and I just think like the Ted Lasso and Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin and Martin Short. People just loved it.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. So then there's so many categories.
Let's jump to the lead actors.
Yeah.
Because also, I have a bone to pick with this category when they like put people, and I know that they can do this on purpose, where they're
The vote splitting, same series. It's like,
not just that, more like you are not a supporting actor. You are a lead in this show.
Okay,
Why
so
are you-
don't do
okay.
supporting yet. So lead actor.
Lead actor in a drama. You want to read them?
Yeah, I'll read it. So, outstanding lead actor in a drama series: Jason Bateman, Ozark; Brian Cox, Succession; Lee Jung-ji, Squid Games; Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Saul; Adam Scott, Severance; and Jeremy Strong, Succession.
Wow, that was really good. Liz.
Well, the big front runner that everybody loves is Jason Bateman. Hasn't he won it like 1 or 2 times? Ozark is, I think, very beloved by the Academy.
Well, and it wrapped up. It was its last season, so this is the time if you're going to do it. But I think Brian Cox from Succession is always, that's going to be
a good chance.
I don't know. I kind of want Bob Odenkirk to win it just because Better Call Saul. He's been so amazing.
Right.
I don't know.
Listen, the guy survived a heart attack and then finished the season.
Oh, I know.
Give him a friggin'
I know.
award.
Or
What's
wait.
wrong with you all? Everyone just step down.
Also, Adam Scott was so good in Severance. I don't know. I mean,
Right. I think this is a very strong category, which has no obvious front runner.
yeah, well, we'll see.
And how amazing Squid Game. I mean,
Yeah.
it was subtitles. I mean, he was speaking Korean, so that translated, pun intended, another pun, and got a nomination. Is totally awesome.
Jason Bateman has not won.
What did he win? A Golden Globe?
Well, he won an Emmy for directing.
Oh, okay, okay.
Let's see. He also won Screen Actors Guild.
That's I remember. Okay.
Okay, what about these lead actresses in a drama? I'm not going to be as good as you reading them, but we got Jodie Comer from Killing Eve, Laura Linney from Ozark, Melanie Linsky from Yellow Jackets, Sandra Oh from Killing Eve, Reese Witherspoon from The Morning Show, and Zendaya from Euphoria. I
Did you
mean,
mean you're not going to be as good? Like you're not going to read it in a professional
no, I mean,
announcer
she read
voice?
it like a real announcer. I
I
didn't mess around with she did.
I think
the
that
awesome
Jodie
read.
Comer.
It was so good.
Well, I think Jodie Comer and Sandra Oh are going to cancel each other out because that Vilna and Eve,
Villanelle,
I think
yeah.
Villanelle from BBC America, Killing Eve, last season, last two Raw.
mean, this is tough.
I think that will go bye-bye. The other thing about that,
Did Zendaya win last year?
she has one, yes.
Okay.
Well, no, whoa. John will probably correct me. It might have been a SAG or it might have been a Golden Globe. He'll have to say if it was an Emmy or not. But she
It
has
was kids' choice.
For Euphoria.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Zendaya won in 2020. So 2 years
2020.
ago.
Okay.
So there is a chance this season of Euphoria was very strong. So I this is another category. Only prediction I have here is that Jodie and Sandra Oh might just cancel each other out.
I mean, rather than predict anything, all I'm going to do is say, I'm excited for all of these performances. These actresses were great and did really good work, and I'm excited that they all got nominated. Good for them.
Let's do comedy series.
Okay.
Lead actor in a comedy series: Donald Glover, Atlanta; Bill Hader, Barry; Nicholas Hoult, The Great; Steve Martin, Only Murders in the Building; Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building; and Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso.
I mean, come on. Those are some great.
I think it'll be Jason Sudeikis.
It is really surprising that Nicholas Hoult from The Great got nominated.
Right.
It's a fantastic performance. It's a great show. I love it. I just didn't expect to see it on there, so I was very excited when I did.
And Hulu has 3 actors, so way to go, Hulu. Steve Martin and Martin Short are just an absolute delight in Only Murders in the Building. Their chemistry is off the charts.
Yeah, they're crazy funny.
That's another one. Is that just going to cancel each other out?
Who knows? All right, so lead actress in a comedy, Rachel Brosnahan for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Quinta Bronson for Abbott Elementary, Kaylee Cuoco, The Flight Attendant, Elle Fanning, The Great, Issa Rae, Insecure, and Jean Smart for Hacks. Oh, Jean Smart.
I think that's the front.
I mean, come on. She's fantastic. All of these are great, but I can't imagine her not getting it. But
I think anybody else would be an upset.
She won last season.
Yeah, so
maybe she won't again. But
so if somebody else took it, because
Elle Fanning is amazing in The Great. I mean,
yeah, because we had years of Julie Louis Dreyfus. Just it
over and
almost
over.
got boring. It got to the point where you're like, can anybody else win?
Oh, come on, it was Veep. It deserved everything it got. How dare you?
I think she even won for that Life of Christine. I mean,
well, whatever.
She
won
dominated
for 6 years in a row for Veep. So you're right about that.
Yikes!
Okay,
That's
so
awesome.
now I just want to, and then we'll table it for now, because of course we can talk about it when the actual Emmys are closer. But I do want to talk about these supporting categories, because I really don't like this idea of you are totally a lead in this show, and then you somehow decided to put yourself up for nomination in the supporting
Because you
category.
think you have a better chance.
Yes, 100%, but I still think it's a manipulation, and I don't like it.
Okay.
Well, just to say before we go too far, you don't think these actors are the ones manipulating it, right?
No, I don't think they're in charge of it at all. I think they have publicists and whoever, whether it's the network or platform or whoever, wants to get the most amount of nominations and the best chance of winning. So they're going to say, oh, you can go in this category versus that category, whatever. Now, some of them, okay, so let's do supporting actress in a drama series. Patricia Arquette in Severance, that's a supporting role.
Okay.
I agree with that. Julia Garner in Ozark. I mean, I don't know. That seems like she's a
I will
lead.
say Ruth.
She was a supporting, and then
She was supporting, but she's almost really became a main storyline. But then also, how she is in scenes is so strong and so dominant.
it doesn't feel like support. Well, whatever.
Right.
So Squid Games, I'm not familiar with enough to make any judgment whether or not Jung Hoo Young.
She is throughout the entire, because, sorry, spoiler alert, Squid Game, people just get killed off throughout the whole thing. She's one of the last, people standing. Yes, but it's primarily a lead male role that dominates this narrative.
Okay, so then Christina Ricci in Yellow Jackets. I mean, if she's supporting, then they're all supporting? That makes no sense.
I know, because
I don't.
Yeah, well,
I'd say the issue isn't so much with the two explicit categories of lead and supporting. It's an issue with that's not how everything works anymore. There's maybe a show with 6 people who are leading the story.
Yeah.
Individually in their own ways,
Yeah, I'm like,
all pulling the story forward from their perspective for the entire audience.
Well, I think at some point there was a thing where it was like, oh, if it's a supporting, it's like the amount of screen time. It's like some of these you're absolutely not supporting based on that. The other one in this category, we've got from Succession, we've got Sarah Snook, and then also J. Smith Cameron, which J. Smith Cameron... Okay, that's kind of supporting, but Sarah Snook
Shiv is not supporting.
I don't. Okay,
no.
whatever.
All the kids, because her brother is actually, this makes little or no sense. I know, the Kendall character in Succession is
he and the dad are both in lead category.
Right. So that's why I'm there's, Shiv was right there.
Oh, she's as big, 100%.
But that's where there has to be some analysis that is...
Well, because they put Karen Culkin in supporting as well. And I guess this is also because they don't want them all up against each other when there's 6 people in the cast that could get nominated. And then they're all in one category. Nicholas Braun from Succession, he's also in supporting.
And Matthew McFadden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tom is supporting. I feel the Tom falls into
Tom
supporting.
and Nicholas Braun's character.
But not Culkin as Roman.
That makes no sense.
No. All the siblings are leads. The 2 brothers and the sister and the dad are the leads of it. So, all right. But I do think it's the idea of not taking each other out and looking at the landscape.
Trying to get the biggest picture view and the most nominations and the most chances. But wait, just really quick. Also in the male supporting category, look, John Turturro and Christopher Walken from my Severance show. Oh, I love it.
If Christopher Walken
my
wins,
personal
I
Severance
will
show,
die.
yes, John.
Yeah, I mean that's I don't know, blatant vote grab, I mean, that's brutal to that category.
Oh yeah,
I mean, if they don't give it to Christopher Walken just for still working and being out there, I mean, please. And no one would be upset nor take it away from him. It'd be like, yeah. So, I mean, could you imagine if Christopher Walken is there and wins? I would freak out.
It would be amazing. Well, so the last thing that we'll talk about is just supporting actors in the comedy category. So for the ladies, for actresses, we have Alex Borstein in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Is that really supporting? I feel like she's more like
Co-star.
a co-lead. Okay, whatever. But then for Hacks, Hannah Einbinder, come on.
She is a co-star.
They just didn't want them in the same category.
Well, because, that would have, they'd love for them both to take an award home. So that's how they did it.
Yeah, they broke it up.
Yep.
Kate McKinnon from Saturday Night Live. I mean,
Janelle James. Abbott Elementary.
She, I do feel like, is supporting, but then, well, maybe also Sheryl Lee Ralph in Abbott Elementary.
Oh, I mean, saw this video of where Sheryl Lee Ralph, who I've been around her because she actually, I think she got coached by my old acting teacher, and then there was there was a vagina monologues that I was working with a client that she was doing part of it. My vagina. I mean, just so. But
somehow
pretty
that
good. Just for 2 words.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
that pulled in my Sharona energy. My Sharona.
Yeah, well, she's just such a professional, so gorgeous, been in the business so long. So they showed a video of her getting the phone call from her publicist to say she got the nomination. And it was so joyous and so well deserved. You're just like, hell yeah, great. So she's someone like, it'd be so fun if she won just because she's been around and just doing the work. Just doing the work.
She's great. Well, we'll see.
And then to get this like hit show at this stage in your career.
No, it's great. Yeah. So, but
what were you going to say, John?
Well, I was going to go ahead to the next part of this topic. It's Ted Lasso is ruining this category.
Oh, yeah. Ted Lasso has 3 women.
Sarah Niles as Dr. Sharon. Perfect. Love that she got nominated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
However, Juno Temple and Hannah Waddingham, not quite supporting.
Yeah, not supporting.
Oh, Hannah should be in the lead category, like no debate.
Uh-huh.
But
again, it's a strategy.
Again, also because it's a strategy. If you watch the season versus a real supporting role, you get just so much of her that she's going to be forefront in your mind more than someone that's, nowhere is featured.
We'll take a look at this male supporting actor category.
That's what I was going to say. They ruined that one too.
Ted Lasso, 3 guys. Brett Goldstein, who won last year.
Yeah.
Toheeb Jamo,
Yeah.
I think is right. And then also Nick Mohammed. I mean, like, what? This is crazy. Not crazy that it's just, they've got 3 guys in this category. How
Well,
are they?
I think they're just going to cancel each other out, and that's the bummer.
Yeah. I mean, look,
That's
Henry
perfectly fine
Winkler.
with that if we get Henry Winkler winning.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
well-
2 Barrys.
There's 2 Barrys.
Noel Hank, who I actually will
Anthony
say,
Kerrigan. He's amazing.
he's amazing, but Henry Winkler this last
Oh,
season
he's-
was incredible. I mean, his arc,
and his performance throughout.
physical performance, his facial, his nuanced emotions. I mean, come on.
Are we talking about the masks that Gene Cousineau wears? Because I disagree. Actually, I'm gonna go on record. I was disappointed with Gene and Henry Winkler this season.
Loved
No,
him.
he was amazing.
I will say,
No, that's part of the problem of this season is like for him to be deadpan through all this and like, oh, I'm barely hanging on to like, he's gonna kill me, he's not gonna kill me, I'm gonna turn the tables is like, no.
I loved it.
Oh, and I'm getting Joe Montana's Bring Me Back in the fold. Oh no, the old director.
best.
Oh, but I'm going to bring her back, and then I'm going to do just a terrible job at this TED Talk version thing. It was like, no, he's part of the whole problem with the season.
I loved it.
Interesting
I will
take,
say,
John.
the snub that actually upset me was Sally from Barry
oh my
not
God,
being
you're
included.
absolutely
Yeah.
right. She's
She's long overdue.
Yeah.
You have
She's
to go
been
back
amazing.
and look, John, to see if she actually's ever been nominated. But man, I mean, they just do the close-ups on her face, and that whole, story from beginning to end, her basically unraveling was just fantastic.
She was nominated, I don't know if it was first season or second season for supporting actors for the Emmys, as well as, as part of the ensemble for SAG.
Well, she's
pretty
I feel like
amazing.
she was a snub this
What's
season.
her name, John?
Sarah Goldberg.
Oh, right. Sarah Goldberg. She's amazing.
So good. So yeah, no, that's, Ted Lasso and Barry dominate this category, and we will just see. And Bowen Yang from Saturday Night Live.
I feel like Saturday Night Live, they don't even belong in
It's
here.
very-
It's like such a weird, I don't know where they go, but it's always weird to see them in.
Also, when you go
Yeah.
supporting, you're like kind of back to what Ed said.
Exactly,
Well, then
like-
isn't everybody supporting? No one could be a lead.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Saturday Night Live, it's weird because I think they're in, there aren't acting categories for these
sketch
other
and
things.
comedy. I know. Sketch and variety, I think.
Yeah, whereas they're one of the, two in variety sketch series. It's like, yeah, they've gotten ousted out of comedy by this new thing, them in a Black Lady sketch show. It's a big category.
Yeah.
But then the actors, yeah, I mean, it's a weird because, the host has taken up so much time. But yeah, man, maybe we need full transparency. Just show us the math on how much these people are in these shows, and then we'll know if it makes sense that these SNL people are supporting or not.
Yeah.
That was one of the most iconic supporting awards ever was Dame Judi Dench. And it was for Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, yes.
And I think she was on screen for like 90 seconds or so, whatever.
I think it's,
it
might be like
ridiculous.
3 minutes or
She was like,
something.
this is absurd. I'm nominated and I won. Oh my God. Like it was up against actresses that,
much more substantial.
yes. So, I mean, I love Bowen Yang in this season of Saturday Night Live. He was a standout.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it is very hard. Like that's a very different package to present for people to screen or look at. I don't know how you look at that compared to like a Ted Lasso or, the Taylor James Williams. I love that because, he's been around as a kid actor, Abbott Elementary, and now to have this success. That's what I just love. I feel like because, one of our she didn't get nominated, but, we even had her on a prior podcast that we do, Lisa Ann Walter. I mean, what a freaking score for her. And she's another out there working, auditioning, always not, you never know, right?
Sure.
And she, to have the success, I mean, could not be happier for her. So, and I saw her, she just was, now she's kind of everywhere. She's attending, award shows, premieres, and just guest hosted on
The Talk.
The Talk.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, so
love
very
it.
excited about her.
Lisa
So,
Ann Walters.
the other person I want to say,
Wait, she's not nominated. We're just talking about her because she's great.
yeah,
Okay,
and
just
just happy for her. One other, I just want to talk about a nomination that I had predicted.
Oh, predicted. Good
and
for you.
so excited it came to fruition. Jennifer Coolidge, The White Lotus.
Oh, yeah. Where are these White Lotus nominations? Because
Limited series. 'Cause
Yeah. Oh,
everything
that's
makes
why.
sense.
Anthology, yeah.
That's why.
does not make
Okay.
sense.
Now the problem is,
I mean, I think limited series does apply if it's an anthology. If you're recasting, then, it's a whole new thing next time.
but I will say it's interesting because Sydney Sweeney is nominated
For Euphoria?
both Euphoria and White Lotus.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's pretty big to be nominated twice.
Young lady, good
And
for you.
I will agree that she was a supporting, along with the character Belinda, Nastasia Rothwell. They fall into Outstanding Supporting Actress in a limited anthology series. Connie Britton and Jennifer Coolidge. So in that supporting actress limited anthology, there are 4 actresses from White Lotus. Connie Britton and Jennifer Coolidge absolutely should be leads. They should not be supporting.
And there are 5 because there's also Alexandra Daddario.
Oh my gosh. But is there...
How is there, what's the,
I'm
who's
just
in the
looking
lead
at, wait,
category
There is
then?
no lead category.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, where?
Toni Collette, Julia Garner, Lily James, Sarah Paulson, Mark Quelly.
But that's just
Amanda
a drama
Seyfried.
series.
I
Nope.
forgot about
Lead
Maid.
actress in a limited or anthology.
I forgot about Maid. Yeah. Qualley was amazing.
Margaret.
Margaret Qualley.
Oh, now I see it. Oh, I got a little confused on whatever.
All right, well,
was
look,
going
we're going to
on.
put a pin in it for now. So the Emmys are in September. September 12th is when they air.
I think we need to do an after recap. It's so unpredictable.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a good idea. We'll do an after and just discuss who won and whether or not we agree.
Because it just speaks to the level, the quality that is now available.
Oh,
in-
yeah.
in
So
viewing,
many,
yeah.
which is also interesting that most of the stuff between the 4 of us, we've seen almost everything that is on any of these,
Right.
nominations. And liked almost all of it. So,
And if you really need to know, supposedly Judi Dench was on screen for 8 minutes.
oh, 8 minutes.
8
Ooh,
minutes.
all 8 minutes. All right. Well, that's it for this episode of What We Are Watching. Thank you for listening. And please follow us on all of our social media at Podcast Watching. And also, you can join us on Patreon, become a patron. We really appreciate that. And we'll talk about other stuff, including shows we don't really like. Okay. Anyway, that's kind of fun. All right. Thank you for listening to
What We're
Watching.